Hi, welcome to Healing Humanity. My name is Dina, and I want to talk to you today about the new regime. Let's just term it that way. So, I was watching the decoding of the Last Supper, and it's on YouTube. It's a great video. It kind of dives into some secret writings that Davinci had written on the painting of the Last Supper, but you can't particularly see all of these with the naked eye. And one of the ones that sort of stuck with me, and I have it written here, is by the disciples' feet, by the floor, he wrote or painted, it says, "Those who hold power will bury truth beneath, beneath stone until the eyes of the future uncover it." Say that again. This is by the disciples' feet at the Last Supper, the painting of the Last Supper, and it says, Da Vinci, da Vinci painted, "Those who hold power will bury truth beneath stone until the eyes of the future uncover it." And boy, isn't that pretty prevalent for what's going on in today's age, right? We have a whole new regime of God's soldiers that are out here trying to figure out what the truth is and trying not only to figure it out, but what to do with it, right? There's been so much deception and suppression and corruption over the course of many, 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 many years. And it's all of our job to decipher it, to not only decipher it, but to decide what is actually true and what's not true. And that's a hard job. That's a really hard job. And what's making it even harder is that the old regime is not letting go, is not retiring as they should in some instances. Perhaps some training is involved, and I understand that. However, God's new soldiers need room and autonomy to do what they believe is right according to the Bible and according to God's laws, not according to what has been built in the past through deceptions, corruption, suppression, and lies, ultimate and outright lies. And I can say that with complete certainty. And the reason that I can is because what happened in my life. Um, I was a young girl. I was 7 years old. I was brought to a building and was brought up, I believe, to one of the very top floors. And I don't remember getting out of the elevator at all. And I remember everything up to it. I remember a show I saw. I remember walking down the street. I remember a gentleman walking down the street with a music box on his shoulder. I remember what year it was. I remember how old I was. I remember pushing the button for the elevator. I remember a small conversation I had with the person that I was going up in the elevator with. But I don't remember a single thing after that. Nothing of that night. That's suppression. That's corruption. From that time, um, and I know this is going to sound strange, and but it's 100% true, and it's something that I have kind of figured out over the years what's been going on. But over the years, there have been many lies, many deceptions in the course of my life. I was 13 years old, and a person very close to me, very loved by me, in a powerful stance in my life, went to people that I went to school with who were visiting a cousin of mine at the time and started bad rumors about me. I was 13, 13-year-old girl. I had never done anything wrong in my life at that point, except to question this one person on their choices. And and from there, throughout the course of my life, I had instances to meet up with this person, and there were various times where this person's personality was not quite theirs. It was as if there was three people or so within this one body. It was very strange, right? And the corruption continued throughout my entire life. That um, whenever there was a moment where something good was going to happen, boom, something just swiped the legs out from underneath me. And it was not of my doing. And although, as you're growing up and as you're working and you're striving and you're doing, you don't realize, you think it's your fault. You think, what did I do wrong? It was always an excuse one way or another. Well, come to find out, it was lies that were being shared with people behind the scenes. And they were able to get away with this because of their secrets, because of their secret societies, because of the way that they made their plans, because they targeted individuals, me being one of them, where they were able and willing to go behind someone's back and share just a little bit of a false narrative with someone, and then your life is detrimentally affected from that moment on. And every time where I was taking that next step or going to do the next best thing, if there was a moment where there was going to be a glow up, it never happened. It was always a stressful event or something that just seemed off, something wasn't right, something happened behind the scenes. It just was an ugly situation. So why do I share this with you? Because these are the things that have happened over the course of time that have been built and have been utilized to hold people down, to stop people from evolving, to not follow the word of God at all, and to harm people. And there's a new regime now, and these people need to be able to take over in a manner that is honorable, trustworthy, that follows the word of God in truth and in light, not in darkness, not in secret, not behind corrupted doors. I share this with you not for anyone to feel sorry for me, because I've become who I am because of everything that happened. However, I think this new regime deserves a chance to do things right, to build something beautiful for this world. And if they choose not to, then they have to take into consideration where we've come from, because God has taken us to this point to get rid of the old and bring in the new, to do something different in the world, to bring about a massive change, not just locally, but globally, a massive change, not just for men, but men and women, not just for businesses, but for all, not just for local governments, but federal governments. Things are changing, and this new regime needs an opportunity to do things right in truth and in light. And I will just state that I think that it's really important for the new regime to heed God's warnings on being able to, to follow him and to do his work for him. Because that's what we're here to do. That's what I told you the other day. We are all soldiers of God. We are not God. We are not the ones that are in control. We are not the ones that should be, putting other people in slavery or harming others or harming children or, holding our thumb on women's lives. We need to be able to build a new world, a new earth. That is what we're here to do. That is what we're all here to do. And the old regime can either get on board or they need to retire. Just, there's no other way around it. There's no other way that I can explain this with greater clarity. Who am I? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just sharing things with you that come to me, things that I've researched, things that I know from my own past, and things that I see, coming, in the Bible, what's available to us. God shows us what's available to us, but it's up to us to make it happen. It's up to us to heed his word and act upon it in light and truth. And that's not an easy path to travel. It's not an easy path for this new regime to go down. It's not. It is very difficult to decipher out what is false, what is, what has been deceptive, what needs to stay, and what needs to absolutely go. And I hope that they have great discernment. I hope that they build their discernment. I hope that they see that there's a new way of walking in the world through light and truth, through cooperation and collaboration with others, rather than this corrupted regime standing overhead, looking down upon everyone, treating everyone as if we are just simply consumers and nothing more. We're all human beings. We're here for a purpose, each and every one of us. God has sent us here. And I can tell you that for certain. God has sent me here, and he has sent you here as well. We're here to bring about that new world, that new earth that he has promised us. Will it happen in our lifetime? I don't know. But I know that we're the beginning. That is for certain. And so I would just say to you, if you are part of the old regime, it's your opportunity to do things right. It's your opportunity to train your sons and daughters, to do what's right, to follow God's law, rather than where you have been led deceitfully. And it is perhaps no fault of your own. The deceit is widespread. It is so unbelievably believable that it would be hard not to just grasp onto something that seems like it's working. But it hasn't worked. It's been very, very corrupt and really, really troublesome, causing a lot of problems in a lot of people's lives, mine being one of them. So I would just say, if you are of the old regime, please, look for ways to better this world without using the corruption and without using the deceit that you have learned to date. And if you are the new regime, here's your opportunity. Here's your grand opportunity to build that new earth that we are all waiting for, that we are all hoping for. And perhaps if we do that and we do enough of it, perhaps, Jesus will finally return. But I don't think that we're ready for that yet. I don't think that we're ready for him to walk this earth, because I know what I went through, the judgments, the corruption, the fear mongering, the lies and the deceit and the just horrendous behavior of some people, that I could just see that if Jesus was walking the earth right now, how he would be treated. It would be very close to what I went through, if not worse, because he was bold. He was very bold in how he came about his situations, about how he shared his information. People aren't ready for that. Not yet. Not yet. And isn't that sad? Thousands of years have passed and we're still not ready. We're still holding on to selfish ways. We're still holding on to the love of money and the love of ourselves, rather than treating one another fairly, justly, and living in truth and living in the light. Darkness has just overtaken a lot, and it's a hard path, but it needs to change. We all need to change. We all need to make that effort to change. And I think this new regime has an opportunity to do things right, to do things better. And I know that you're searching for answers, and hopefully some of the things that I share will help give you some of those answers. I'm not sure. There's lots more that I could say, and probably lots more that I will share in the near future. But for now, I just want you to know that this is the time. This is the time to make those final decisions on where you want to go with things, and how you want to show up, and what kind of world do you want to build? What kind of new earth do you want to live in? I don't want to live in what has been at all. My life has been so far corrupted by people that thought that, no, not just thought, by people who had power, This shouldn't have. They should not have. And so I would just let go of some of these old narratives, some of these old teachings, some of the corrupted ways that you're being taught, and look for the new, look for the light, look for the truth, look for the people that can help you. Look for the people that can guide you into the truth, rather than going to the people that have just built this corruptive system that we are all living under. Not in, but under. Anyway, until next time, continue nurturing your body, protecting your heart, and strengthening your soul.